Hello YouTube, I'm Kurt and welcome to the Kurt Winters YouTube channel, dedicated to giving you advice on collecting cars and celebrating the history of these amazing machines. This channel is focused on helping you with your car or restoration project. Now, back in 1995 when this car came out, the MSRP was bouncing somewhere around $34,000 and $36,000. which equates today's money to roughly around $64,000, $65,000 US. That is a lot of money for a Japanese sports car. You might be thinking to yourself how this car came to production. Well, in the early 90s, the Japanese economy was booming. The yen was at an all-time high, and all of the Japanese automakers were taking their turn at creating some serious sports cars that cost some serious money. Today's episode is sponsored by Marvel Mystery Oil. I don't know what's in it, but I always dump it in my Mitsubishi, and you should too. So this is a 1995 Mitsubishi 3000 GT SL. Now the SL was sandwiched in between the base model and the VR4. It is considered one of the most iconic Japanese sports cars of all time and relatively underappreciated. Now, although this is a very highly modified example, and I know there's lots of YouTubers out there who only want to review cars that are not modified. Shout out to my hero, Doug DeMuro. I still love you, Doug. No worries on that. But the truth is that these cars were driven hard, and there's very, very few unmodified examples that are left out there. So today, I'm going to be giving you an in-depth tour of the car. Then we're going to get it out on these back roads so you can get a chance to see what it's like to drive in a modified Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Okay, so starting at the front end of this car, I've always believed that this is one of the most beautiful Japanese sports cars to come out of the 90s. So let's go ahead and take a look at this front end here. Now, the first generation GTs, or GTO if you're in Japan, would have came with a pop-up headlight, of course, which was all the rage at the end of the 80s, and it had a different front fascia. Now, if we come around here and we take a look at these headlights, these are actually inset projector beam headlights with what they call a wrap. Now, this is a factory wrap. Oftentimes the wrap would match the body color of the car, but just looking at the front end of the car, I never get tired of looking at it. It is just one of the most beautiful and iconic sports cars to come out of the 90s. So let's go take a look around back and see the ass on this car. What do you say? Now, it's important to keep in mind that the Mitsubishi 3000 GT was part of the Diamond Star collaboration between Mitsubishi and Chrysler. So this car actually shares its mechanicals with the Dodge Stealth. Again, comparing it to the front of the car, the back end of this car to me is beautiful. One of my favorite parts of this car is the spoiler. So if we can bring the camera in here, this type of 90s spoiler has always been one of my favorites. When I first saw this spoiler that kind of teardrops over the back of the car, doesn't really impede my vision at all when I'm driving, incorporates a third brake light, I was just sold. And another part of what I really like about it is if you look at these mounting points, a lot of spoilers from the early 90s, your mounting point is going to be right under your spoiler. So what I mean by that is you've got a couple of nasty holes drilled here, nasty holes drilled there, but Mitsubishi took the time to incorporate, I don't know if it's a jet fighter, if it's aerodynamic, I don't know if it has something to do with the coefficient. I'm not smart enough to know that, but I've always loved the mounting points about how they come up to the spoiler. And I gotta say, between the spoiler, the completely flat back end, and we've got kind of a little tiny bubble butt coming out here. This is a great looking back end of a car. Awesome, you're still watching. So if you're still hanging around, remember to click subscribe and join the tribe so you can be notified of the newest uploads to this channel. And also make sure you hit that like button so other car nuts just like you get a video like this recommended to them on YouTube. Now back to the fun. I don't always drink a fuel and oil additive enhancer, but when I do, I make sure it is Marvel Mystery Oil. Magnifique. Now, I have to say that I am partial to this particular 3000 GT. If you've been watching the channel lately, you've noticed that we've done a lot of videos on it showing some of the upgrades, some of the things I've changed. Basically, turning it into what you could call an initial D, a Fast and Furious wannabe prop car. One thing I really love about 90s sports cars is the gigantic doors. I mean, how many feet is that? That's at least 25, 30 feet long. The interior was not in the best shape. Let's just put it that way. So there were already so many things that needed to be fixed and tweaked on this car that I decided, hey, let's just have fun with it. So let's check out this interior and you can see what I'm talking about. Now, when I first got this car, one of the first things that absolutely drove me batshit crazy was the seats. They were the factory seats, but they had worn so badly that when you sat in the seat, your butt actually went all the way almost down to the floor. I didn't want to put another pair of used factory seats into the car. And again, in the spirit of Initial D and Fast and Furious, I decided to go over the top. But what we did was a snowflake white in both seats. Now, I was super worried about putting white seats in a car. First of all, putting white seats in a car, that's a bad idea. All right, white is the color that shows dirt, one of the easiest. And also, I was worried about how the black interior and the white seats might clash. And I wasn't quite for sure how it was going to turn out. If you think the seats look good in white, let me know, leave a comment below. One other important fact about the interior is all of these interiors for the Mitsubishi 3000 GTs only came with a black dashboard, steering wheel. This was all black. Now the doors could come in different colors. I saw a red VR4, the same one that Doug DeMuro reviewed, and he had tan doors with tan leather. And I gotta be honest, I'm super glad whoever ordered this car or whoever pushed the button at the Japanese plant chose the black doors with the black interior, because I think it came out great. And let's go take a look at that engine and then we'll get her out on the road. We went through the engine, fixed some oil leaks, but let me show you some of the modifications that the previous owner did. And of course, modifications that were crucial if you were a baller in the 90s. So let's start up here. We've got our Spectre air intake. Now, normally this would have sat inside of a box, which is going to prevent heat from being sucked into the air cleaner. So what this Spectre does do is it makes the exhaust extra effing loud. It is the same engine layout that the VR4 used. This car makes around 225 horsepower. So if we kind of come and look around here, one thing that I really like about this engine design is this is your timing belt right here. So with this being an interference motor, if your timing belt goes while you're romping on it on the highway, or belt breaks, it could destroy various parts of the engine. And again, going back to what I said in my other videos, this was the golden era of Japanese sports cars, and certain ones were designed superbly and will run for hundreds of thousands of miles. So let's hop in and let's see how that driving experience goes. What do you say? I just wanted to say, I know there's all different types of YouTubers out there. Some people like to talk about cars. Some people like to go to museums. I don't know. I like to get out. I like to drive the car. I like to experience the car. If the car gets a scratch on it, if it gets a dent, if it gets a ding, you know, God forbid, if you put it in a ditch, you're at least driving it. You're getting out there. You're experiencing what the car was created for. I just hope you YouTubers can appreciate the type of channel that we have here, not in a gloating or a hey look at me sense, but not only do we talk about cars, but we get out and drive them, because let's be honest, that's what they're there for. They are kinetic pieces of artwork. But I just really encourage you, if you've got a classic at home, maybe it's not running, I don't know what's going on with it, just do some work, get out and drive it, experience it, enjoy it, and put a comment down below if that's something that's important to you. Definitely, if you want an enthusiast car, the 5-speed is definitely the way to go. And I thought we'd go over some of the driving characteristics of the car. Okay, so we're coming up on this corner ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stay in third gear. And this car in third gear, even with the pedal only a quarter of the way down, we still have a lot of torque. The steering is excellent. I mean, excellent. I know we're dealing with, wow, it is really slippery. We're borderline rally out here, folks. So I don't know, maybe this will make for a good video. I'm not sure. Like I said, at least we're in a front-wheel drive car. I can let you know that the front-wheel drive SL version of this car, the steering is remarkably precise. Okay, so now that we've got one lap under our belt on this very gravelly, almost rally-style road, I'm going to go ahead and shut up, let you guys have the point of view from the front of the car, and let's see if we can take this track a little bit harder. All right, here we go, full-on gravel. It for the biscuit up here. This, we're gonna go ahead and drop it in second. You can feel, you can see the front end, absolutely no grip on all this gravel. Unbelievable. And another big patch of gravel. Not gonna risk it for the biscuit. And now we have a Ford Explorer who has decided to ruin all of our fun. Don't you tell me how many I could have. I could have one. I'll be just fine. I can quit anytime I want. You don't know me. We had a blast shooting this video today. I hope you really got a chance to see what the SL can do. And I want to thank you for tuning in. And thank you for the privilege of your time. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Just one more. I'm fine. Just give me one more. Sake! Sake, give me one more. Don't tell me how much I can handle. I'm fine. I can drive right now.